Okay, so yes, this one's pretty interesting. You know, there are some rumors going around. I mean, Lucasfilm is, it's Lucasfilm. It's always in the news. There's always something dramatic going on. But I found it was fascinating. You know, I was scrolling my Twitter and I saw an article highlight Harrison Ford's maybe recent comments. I believe it was with USA Today, if I'm not mistaken. And he was very adamant that he didn't want anybody wearing the fedora after him. Now, obviously, that might not be the most realistic vision, in terms of the Indiana Jones character and property and franchise. But he was pretty clear. He did not want anybody donning the fedora. And I have been hearing some rumors and maybe some theories out there that, that tumble that, that Harrison took on the set of Indiana Jones 5, where he injured his, I believe it was arm or shoulder or whatever, that maybe the injury that he sustained might have been a little bit overstated by him himself in order to sideline that production. We all know that Indiana Jones got pushed back a year. Right. And this film wasn't supposed to come out in like 2019, 2020 at one point. I mean, it's like, to be pushed back this many times is very unusual, very uncharacteristic. But we did hear that some of the plot details might involve replacing Harrison Ford as the Indiana Jones character going down, going down the line here. And the speculation is that maybe he injured himself to sideline the production in order to get some rewrites in order to prevent that from happening. I thought that was very, very interesting. I wanted to hear what you guys maybe thought about that.
That is interesting. I'm torn on it because I feel like Harrison Ford always injures himself.
He does have a way of injuring himself on set, doesn't he?
Right, he's constantly injuring himself, and I love Harrison, man. That guy is so badass. Like, the guy's like in his 70s. He's doing all kinds. He's flying his own private planes, all kinds of stuff. But I'm torn on it because I do feel like that might be something that's actually legit, because I do feel he has a personal connection to Indiana Jones, even more so than his Han Solo character. I feel like he's much more invested in Indiana Jones.
But actually, it's funny that you actually say that, OG, because if you actually think of what happened with Han Solo, that they made Solo the film with a younger version of his character, and kind of the backlash that took. And I wonder if he's thinking in his mind, okay, do I really want this to happen again with Indy? Because I, as you said, I think he has a much more connection with Indy, more so than Solo. And I think it's almost like his baby. It's like he just wants to coddle it, and it's like he wants to literally take it to his grave. I mean, I can't wait for Indy 5, to be honest with you. I want to see what they bring to it. I mean, of course, it's probably going to open the same day as Tron when I collect my Social Security, but it's like one of those.
So funny. Yeah, you're absolutely right about that. But Alia, what are your thoughts on that theory? Like, that Harrison is very protective of this character, and he's trying to sort of, I don't want to say sabotage, but sort of trying to, do stuff to sort of kick the can down the road. You think there's some legitimacy to that rumor, or you think it's kind of hogwash?
Part of me, I don't know. Part of me doesn't. I guess I'm just going toward the overthinking logical part here with the contract and everything, that if there's proof he was trying to sabotage, that would be completely against contract. They could, I don't know, fire him, not care what he thinks anymore, stop the production. I don't know, sue him. But then again, they're very shy of bad publicity. And so maybe even if there is proof of this, they're probably...
Because even back in 2000, I'm sorry.
I respect her a lot. I don't completely criticize her, but I do feel that she's not a creative. She's just more of a business person, but she does need a win. And
talk about Kathleen Kennedy here.
Kathleen Kennedy, yes. Yeah. And with, what did I say instead?
Oh, no. We were just clarifying that is what you said.
Yes, sorry about that.
Well, it really shows her relevance. But
oh dear. But she needs a production win. And so if this got canceled, if it was involved in a lawsuit, that that wouldn't be good. So
Yeah.
But what I was,
you're right.
but I'm sorry, I was going to say back in
Go ahead,
2018,
sorry about that.
2019, was there talks that they were even considering Chris Pratt on playing a young Indy? Like there was talks, like I don't even know if that was
That's
supposed to
rumor.
be part. Was that a rumor?
I don't know if it became factual, but I remember the whispers or the reading Reddit and things like that. You know,
there were talks of many people potentially playing Indiana Jones, and I think that's where the company ultimately wants to go. I mean, obviously, Harrison Ford can't play the character forever, and this is a valuable IP. They did buy the the remaining rights from Paramount with I'm sure the expectation of creating more Indiana Jones content. It's quite interesting, this story, and I bring it up because it's two things. Well, firstly, to put some more meat on maybe the bones of, I don't know, maybe not sabotaging production, but maybe delaying it, is he's pictured relatively a short time later on his bike going around, different parts of Europe and so forth. And it's like, well, wait a minute. I thought this was a serious injury that was supposed to sideline him for, a pretty good length of time. Why is he going around doing all these kind of things?
Yeah.
The other thing too, though, and I think the bigger part of the story is that, maybe Kathleen Kennedy's influence is waning, even when it comes to these kind of side franchises that Lucasfilm has the rights to, like Indiana Jones. There is some talk that maybe there is some rewrites going on in the background for Indiana Jones, and maybe that's why one of the reasons the production was pushed back in order to allow for those rewrites and those reshoots. Now that Chapek is in charge, it's fully. I believe he is maybe looking over the slate and going, hey, what do we want to do? What do we not want to do? We just heard for Kathleen Kennedy herself. I mean, one of her big pet projects was the Children of Blood and Bone. Right. And the rights just slipped back, well, it didn't slip back, but slipped out of their hands to Paramount, which says that, maybe the higher ups did not have faith in this project, and allowed those rights to slip. We heard that there was some back and forth with the writer of Children of Blood and Bone and the Lucasfilm team, and that there were some disagreements there. It's just more drama attached to the Kathleen Kennedy Lucasfilm regime.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. If he is playing devil's advocate, if Harrison is playing, is involved in shenanigans in regards to kind of kicking the can down the road, it's very, very interesting, because I think if that's the case, and this is a big caveat, but if he is, I think it would even be, I think that the motivations for him would probably be even deeper than just someone else playing Indiana Jones, because even in the 90s, I'm an old geezer. I remember the Indiana Jones, Young Indy. Remember Young Indy? I think it was River
Phoenix.
River Phoenix played him in The Last Crusade. There was another actor who played the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles that wore the fedora as well.
So that was a different actor. Okay. Mm-hmm. So he's had a few other actors portray the character in the past, correct, seemingly okay with it. That's why, if this is true and he's doing this to sort of, as a protest thing or to delay, in my opinion, I think it would be deeper than just someone else playing Indiana Jones. I think there's something else going on there that would spark this kind of response from Harrison. I don't know.
Do you think it's because of Kathleen Kennedy?
I mean, it could be. It could be something totally different. I don't know, but I mean, other people have played this character before.
But I wonder if maybe that's why, because even though that they had played the character, they played alongside him, where it was basically just like a pass note, sort of like kind of moving along with the movie, where he was still kind of the front and center playing Indy. I think it's more so he has an issue with someone carrying the film as Indiana Jones rather than himself.
Right.
I mean, I have heard some of the plot details, the rumored plot details. Yeah, and I could see why somebody would take a fall.
Little spoilers.
Well, that's the thing. Hey, look,
There's
got people. If you don't want to hear spoilers, you might want to tune out for the next couple of minutes.
That's right. There's some people that don't even want to watch trailers. That's true.
Sure. So, Aaliyah, why don't you go ahead and tell us some of the things that you've heard, and maybe I can cooperate some of those things.
Time travel is involved.
Yeah.
Back to like ancient Rome.
There you go. Perfect.
That's been seen or heard. So,
time travel, ancient Rome, like you said, and the rumor, the extent of the rumors I've heard is that there's like the time that as they go back into the kind of the back in time, maybe there's a version where Indy doesn't exist, and in the plot he dies, and so the person taking on the fedora must play as Indiana Jones and go through everything that he did throughout the years that he was alive, and that would provide the content that Lucasfilm would like to have for Indy films in the future. That's the way I heard it.
Does he come across Doc Brown?
I mean, that's
and Doctor Strange.
Oh, God. I'm guessing, yeah. To play off that a little bit, I would guess that there is an artifact that would allow this to happen. That would be consistent with the Indiana Jones story. Yeah. But I gotta be honest, it sounds like trash to me. Now it might work, maybe in execution or so forth, but it does not sound great. Okay, so
I've seen things where I've read plot lines and like, oh, that sounds awful, and then when you see the movie, it can be good and pretty good. Right. So,
well, whether it's good or it stinks, I mean, the plus side for us is by the time the movie does come up, we could all go to the movie theater and get the senior discount. So.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
What is it?
OG and myself.
The co-star for this film.
I'm close to 50. If you round my age, it is close to 50. So.
No way.
Wow.
No way.
Wow.
Well, you two seen the fun of youth or something.
It's a plot line for Indiana Jones. No, okay. Well, okay. So the co-star is Phoebe Waller-Bridge, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's who I'm hearing would take up the fedora going forward.
I think that's cool, personally.
Sure.
But I understand.
I mean, but
person's okay with it, I guess. I suppose.
Well, and it might be controversial with a segment of the fans. Maybe not the majority, maybe not a significant segment, but that would be a thing, and
I don't want media companies to worry about angry social media, though. So
right. I get it.
The minority. They're not the general audience. So
right.
I understand. I get it. And that's why. We were just having this conversation the other day, right? OG and George. It's like general public versus the fans and so forth, and how they might have different aspirations or goals or expectations, I should say. But when it comes to this, I mean, I think there's maybe not the rumors of maybe Harrison throwing the production is accurate, but I do think it's accurate that Kathleen Kennedy might be losing some influence if in fact they are going through some of these script changes and some of these story changes with the film. I think Chapek is taking a hard look at everything in production right now and saying, is this the best route to take going forward with this company?
And that kind of worries me because a lot of times when companies halt production for script changes or what have you, I mean, this doesn't happen all the time, but almost like 8 out of 10 times when the final product does come out, it stinks. I mean, from my experience, and I hope that's not the case because Indiana Jones, like Raiders of the Lost Ark is like my top 5 in cinema history. So, I mean, to kind of go out with Indy 5 and it end with something like that would be a travesty.
Yeah, see, Indiana Jones is a tough one because Indiana Jones is so different than Star Wars. And like Star Wars, you can create like ancillary characters. You can do like what they did with the sequel trilogy. It's like after it's a different portion of the timeline, things like that. But Indiana Jones, because Star Wars is about like the galaxy, the universe, a collection of characters and stories, really. Indiana Jones really isn't. Indiana Jones is really like hyper focused on Indiana Jones. And it's really hard to kind of like, where do you go from there without Harrison? It's really, really hard. So if they do decide to replace him, whoever it is, whether it's Phoebe Waller-Bridge or someone totally different, they have to make sure that that the person replacing Harrison is somebody that is going to knock it out of the park. I mean, the pressure on that is unbelievable. Unbelievable.